afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Would the meeting please come to order?
Yes.
Thank you for coming today. First of all, I would like to welcome to all of you to the 10th monthly meeting of the KPMB Student Council. So I see that our Secretary DK, Treasurer Haady, Student Welfare Executive Ammar, and Sport Executive Umar is here today. The time is now 2 p.m. and I would like to start the meeting immediately. Mr. Secretary, is there any apologies of absence?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Apologies of absence were received from Mr. Kumar and Furman.
Okay, noted. I has been informed that our meeting today is to discuss about the establishment of Mara Sport Excellence Center in MPCB. Before that, I would like to give the floor to our Secretary DK to establish all the information about the last minute meeting.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The last minute meeting, item number 4, the price of lockers that have been installed outside the futsal courts are 400 ringgit.
Is there any question or comment regarding to our last minute meeting?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I think there has been an error on the item number 4 where the installation price for the locker listed here is 400 ringgit. It was incorrect. The correct price is 4,000 ringgit.
I see. Thank you for correcting me on that point.
Is there any other question or correction?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I would like to point out that there has been an error on item number 1. The time of meeting was at 2 a.m. where is incorrect. The correct time is 2 p.m.
It seems I made another mistake. Thank you for correcting me.
It's okay.
Any other comment, question or correction?
No.
With all that correction that have been made, I will instruct my secretary to correct those mistakes in the last minute meeting and then read the corrected version.
Duly noted, Mr. Chairman. With the correction that have been made in the last minute meeting, item number 1, the time of meeting is 2 p.m. Item number 4, the lockers installed outside the futsal court is 4,000.
Then, will anyone here to propose that our last minute meeting is correct?
Me, Chairman. I would like to propose that our last minute meeting was correct.
Therefore, I declare that our last minute meeting is fully correct.
Alright. Here you go, sir.
Is there any other matter arising out of the minute of last meeting?
Yes, there are multiple reports of equipment being stolen in Surau Al-Nur.
Okay. Is there any follow-up action regarding the problem?
Actually, Mr. Chairman, CCTV has been put in the Surah An-Nur and has begun their surveillance 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Great job, Ammar. Anyone else have question or comment to make?
No, Mr. Chairman.
If there is known with the correction that have been made in regarding the last minute of meeting, we can now move on to our agenda, which is establishment of Mara Sport Excellence Center in MPCB. Without further ado, any member of the floor that would like to propose a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I want to propose a motion.
Please do, Mr. Treasurer.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to propose that we choose equestrian as our sports.
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion. Sorry.
Okay, I will start my opinion. As we know, the MPCB have 3 choices of sports. First one is equestrian, gymnastics, and also the third one is swimming. We also noted that we need the approval of 30% of the students so it can be qualified as to be an excellence center, and the students need to be fully responsible for the cost of training, equipment, and also logistic of the sports. With all of that take in consideration, here is my opinion. Okay, based on the procedure, the college not give any sport money for paying the bills of the sports or the club fees. With the fee for building the equestrian building there, the buying the horse and anything else, it unachievable because of the students which have low finances from them to pay the construction. Because of that, the other opinion that we can do is by bringing the students to the equestrian club. The nearest equestrian club is or center is at Khuzayrie, and the distance is 37.7 km from KPMB to the equestrian Khuzayrie center. And that equestrian center provide 4 package of lessons. It provide introductory, beginners, intermediate, and the final package of lesson is advanced lessons. For the introductory package, the price start at 450 ringgit, and it consists of 8 sessions of lesson for 30 minutes for each session, and the other 3 beginner, intermediate, and advanced had 8 session for 40 minutes per lesson, but their price is different. Okay, the beginner price is 610 ringgit for beginners, and intermediate is 850 ringgit, and for the advanced package is 900 ringgit. And for the logistic or transportation for buses, for one bus it costs 150 ringgit. So the students maybe will join this club, this equestrian sport is around 400 students. So we'll separate it into 2. So each group, or for the one day for the club to for the club to operate, will only need 200 students. So the college need to send 200 students per day, so they will need only 2 buses. So each of the students need to pay 12 ringgit for 2 months. Okay, and I want to continue with the total sum of the students need to pay if they want to join the club. So if the students want to join for the first time in the first sem, they need to pay 462 ringgit including bus fee, 622 ringgit if they want to proceed their lesson into the beginner package, and 862 ringgit for intermediate, and 912 ringgit for advanced package. For the equipment cost, it is 70 ringgit for the boots. They need their boots, and it costs 150 ringgit. 123 ringgit for the helmets. And all of their equipment they need to buy their own. The college not provided. So, and I will continue why it is the most suitable sports. Mara should approve this. Okay, this equestrian sport place is really suitable because it have the package for the students to learn from beginners, intermediate and advanced, so they can become a professional horse rider. And we can achieve all of this by having 30% of students, by make it compulsory for the first semester to join. So they need to pay 462 ringgit without the equipment. And if they're interested to join for the next semester, they can. If they don't, they can just drop out the what do you call it?
Change sport.
Yeah, they can drop out the sport. And they have an option. If they don't want to be professional quickly, they can pay on their own without using the club timeline that provided. But they're still in the club. They can pay advance and learn advance and go there by themselves, but they are still in the club. So this will provide and will produce a really excellent horse rider from our students in a short amount of time if they're committed, and that will make MPCB one of the popular college among the college in Malaysia. Okay, that's all.
Thank you. So, is there any question or comment to be made in this room?
Mr. Chairman, I have some comments to make about the proposal.
Please speak your mind.
Thank you. Like, as we know from the Mr. Treasurer, he said that this equestrian sport is actually a very, very costly sport. It costs like 655 ringgit for the first semester to actually opt in this sport. So, and with us actually trying to make it compulsory towards the first semesters to join this equestrian club is no better, because this will actually indefinitely causes some retaliation from the first semester students themselves, because of course they don't have the finance to actually pay this 655 ringgit for them to actually opt in this equestrian sport. So in my humblest opinion, rather than making it compulsory towards the first semester students, how about we just open this equestrian kind of sport that can be joined by anyone who want to join, rather than making it compulsory for first semester students. Therefore, only students that have the capability, which is finance and also their time, who wants to join, and they can enroll in this club with their own pace. So if we make this freely, like anyone who wants to join can join, this will actually prevent a bad image of our own college, where we force the first semester students to join a club which is high in finance, and it actually presents us not realizing the factor, which is they don't have a lot of money. So please, I urge for the committee to take that point in consideration. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ammar, for the point that you have given. So, is there any other opinion from this room?
Mr. Chairman, I have an opinion on the motion. As an executive of sport, as an sport executive, it is my duty to ensure that our college excellent in various sport. Okay. I do understand what the point that Ammar point out, that our students have financial issue, but we also need to reconsider about Haady proposal that the KPM needs around 30% of each student to participate in the sport. So the way I see it, that it is a necessary sacrifice of finance that needed to be implemented toward the student of MPCB in order to push them to engage in the sport of equestrian. Because the higher the price, the higher the sacrifice, the higher the reward.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. We will surely keep that in mind. Before we put the motion into a vote, is there any comment or question or correction from the member in this room to point out?
Mr. Chairman, I have a comment about this motion.
And what is your comment, Mr. Secretary?
As we have done our survey, the MPCB students, they have chosen 30% of equestrian, swimming and gymnastics. So some of our implementation would put on a strain to the students' time and finances. Therefore, I suggest we oppose this motion. This is because there will be a lot of resource, time, and other additional resource that will be lost, and the student will only gain few benefits in this motion. One of the reasons that confirms the equestrians will only provide so little benefit is about the training for the students. There is no doubt that the time taken for the students to train and get themselves accustomed with the horse riding undeniably long. So, thus, this will indeed causes problem mostly to the students. Additionally, first semester student does not want to continue their equestrian sport on the next semester. They may have to take on other sports instead, and their expertise in horse riding will be only on beginner level. Furthermore, there is not much time for the students to completely learn how to ride a horse. The chances for the training and examination schedule may be overlapped with other activities and events. And lastly, most students will be in grief when they have to pay a high amount of money to learn to ride a horse, but they could not attend it because of the lack of time and other schedules. I hope we can consider this probability.
I see. Okay, I agree on that.
Okay, thank you for the clarification, EJ. Is there anyone in this room that would like to add anything toward the discussion?
No.
No? Okay. So the purpose of motion is that we choose equestrian. We have discussed about the cost of the sport, the time and the place of the training, and we have also discussed about the positive impact and negative impact of implementing the sport toward the student of the MPCB. Therefore, I would like to put the proposed motion to a vote. Those who are in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, we have 1 vote for the motion and 3 votes against the motion. Therefore, I declare the motion is defeated. Moving on, will any of you in this floor would like to propose another motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to propose a motion.
Please do, Ammar.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to propose that we choose gymnastics.
Mr. Chairman, I second that motion.
So, by the results of my own research, I have seen that between the 3 sports, equestrian, gymnastics and swimming, gymnastics is far better and far less cost to be implemented in the cost of doing that sport, gymnastics. So we actually have the approval and participation of 30% of the student, which is actually a lot. The major students which approve are the female students. So with all the variables taken into consideration, this is why I propose that we chose gymnastics. So the main cost in actually implementing gymnastics as a sport in MPCB is basically that we need to hire a professional coach. Because the approval and participation is mostly female of our female students, therefore I propose that we hire 2 female coaches and 2 male coaches. So the fees of gymnastic coaches is 375 ringgit for each session of training. Like in my opinion, we train every weekend, which is on Saturday morning. So 30% of our students, meaning that we have 420 students that are ready to pay and ready to move into the gymnastic sport. So we want to get into 2 coaches, that would be 750 ringgit per session. Therefore, each student just needed to pay around 15 ringgit to accommodate the monthly expenses of the gymnastic coaches. So the venue of the training is actually pretty easy. We can actually use the Dewan Gemilang in MPCB to accommodate the training of the gymnastics. So one of the factors is the equipment to make our sport gymnastics a reality. So in my research, rubber mats, the price for rubber mats are 626 ringgit. The price for gymnastic ring is 174 ringgit. The price for a vault is 1248 ringgit. The price for a parallel bar is 252 ringgit. The price for an even bar is 4,175 ringgit. So the total equipment cost for all those equipment for gymnastics is actually 6,475 ringgit. And when it is divided by all the participating students, which is 420 students, each student just need to pay around 15 ringgit. So this low cost of opting in gymnastics is actually the main reason why I proposed this motion. So and also furthermore, each student must buy their own gymnastic clothes, which is for 175 ringgit. So we can actually calculate by one per student. One per student need to pay 15 ringgit for coach, 15 ringgit for equipment, and 175 ringgit for their own clothes. In total, one student needed to pay around 205 ringgit for the whole batch of gymnastics sport. So between gymnastics, swimming, and the whole sport, gymnastics is the most cost efficient, and so that is all for me.
Thank you for that. So anyone in this room have any question to be point?
Mr. Chairman, it's not a question, but I would like to make a comment toward the proposal that Mr. Ammar from the Welfare Executive.
Okay,
Can I?
go.
Okay. As we know from the point that Mr. Ammar point out just now, that the sport of gymnastics is cost much lower than the swimming and the equestrian, but unfortunately, the attire when enrolling in this sport is we will surely have a complaint from the some of our lecturer, especially ustaz from the general study, because the attire for this sport is quite revealing. So, Mr. Chairman, in my humble opinion, we should not choose this gymnastic for this particular reason. I urge that we take that point into consideration.
Okay, thank you for the point that you have given. Is there any other opinion that anyone? Is there any other opinion that anyone to point out?
Mr. Chairman, I have an opinion on this motion. Regarding the gymnastics, first of all, there is no doubt that the students will gain some benefits in learning gymnastics, although there are some benefits that they could never achieve. For the student to see their results in doing gymnastics, they need a lot of time and training to do even one of the single pose. And the more difficult the pose, the longer the time they need. That is one problem, since the students may not have enough time for such schedule. On to the next one. It's about the students' age. Apparently, the older the students, the more difficult for them to learn gymnastics. there will also problem. If the students are 25 or 27 or maybe 30 years old, they will have more very difficult that they will take 1 month to learn new code.
Thank you for the clarification. We will thank you for the clarification. We will surely keep that in mind before we put the motion into a vote. Is there any comment, question, or correction for the member in this room?
Mr. Chairman, I have a comment to make. Yes, motion in hand.
Okay, what is your comment, Haady?
I think the fees is incorrect. I mean that how come 2 coaches can handle 210 students in one gym? I think that the coach need to be added 2 more so they can handle for each coach can handle 15 students, and they also need to put in other classes so the coach can teach the students more easily if they out of hands. And besides of that, it will cost extra money to pay more to 2 more coaches, right? And they also need to pay more because the equipment, they need to have the high quality, sturdy, and also safety equipment. We cannot buy the cheapest equipment because gymnastics need to use the equipment that is sturdy for their safety. And I think that's all.
Thank you for the clarification, Haady. So, is there anyone else who would like to add anything towards the discussion?
No.
No, Mr. Chairman.
So, the proposed motion is that we choose gymnastics. We have discussed about the cost of the sport, the time and the pace of the training, and we have also discussed about the positive impact and the negative impact of implementing the sport toward the student of the KPMB. Therefore, I would like to put the proposed motion to a vote. Those who are in favour, please raise your hand. Okay, so we have 1 vote for the motion and 3 votes against the motion. Therefore, I declare that the motion is defeated. So, by far, the process of elimination, the only sport that we have to choose for the establishment of the Mara Sport Excellence Center in NPCB is swimming. So, is there anyone that would like to propose the motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to propose a motion.
Okay, please do, Umar.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I would like to propose that we choose swimming sport for KPM Beranang for our village.
Mr. Chairman, I second that motion.
Okay. The reason why I choose swimming sport for the KPM Beranang is because that I have done quite extensive research on this sport, and it can be possibly implemented in MPCB for the Mara Sport Excellence Center in MPCB. Okay, sorry. Furthermore, I already done a complete survey from everyone that in the KPM Beranang through online. So, in order to get a better result and agreement from each student of MPCB. Okay, it turned out that swimming is a very popular sport and have a higher vote around 40% from other than equestrian and gymnastics. Okay, in order to support my proposal, this is the result of research that I have been done in order to implement swimming in MPCB. As we know, the college will not funded the in order for us to establish the sport. So, the students are fully responsible in order to secure the fund needed for us to establish the sport. Okay, so it quite impossible for us to build a swimming pool in our college using our own fund, even asking the parent from the student. Okay, because of that, I came up with a solution that we bring the students to the near swimming school during the weekend for training purpose. Okay, consider the minimum participation of students in the sport is quite large in number. And to avoid student cramp in one phase, I suggest that we separate the student in two groups. Okay. One group consists 200 students per group. That group 1 will be going on Saturday and group 2 will be going on Sunday. Okay. Each group we will split it another half and go to different venue that I found. The nearest two different venue that are run by the same institute that take place is 9 km and 26 km from the college. Okay, the swimming school institute has prepared two different kind of package. The first package is with the 4 lesson, and the second package is with 8 lesson. With the first package with the 4 lesson is cost around 350 ringgit, and the 8 lesson is 8 lesson package is around 400 ringgit. So each package will be included one coach and 1 hour session. Okay. Meanwhile, the swimming school only allow our student to use proper swimming suit attire in order to for them to train our student. Okay. And for the logistic, I suggest that we will use bus for the trip, and it will cost around 150 ringgit per trip. Sorry. So each student need to pay only 30 ringgit for the 10 lesson for the bus fee. Sorry. Okay. The package of 8 lesson that cost 400 with 1 hour with 1 hour session including coach is the best package needed for MPCB to give birth to a professional swimmer. Okay, so I already calculate the total amount of price for the logistic, the attire, the fee, and it will cost around RM 500 ringgit 80 for each student. So to ensure that we meet with the minimum requirement, we can make it that on only semester 1 it is a compulsory to semester 1 only, and semester 2 and above also can join if there are any spot left. Okay. That's all from me.
Is there any question or comment from anyone in the room?
Mr. Chairman, I have some comments about the motion.
Speak your mind.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. These extra points are about swimming that I found suitable place for the students to actually learn swimming as a sport. The place that I'm referring to is Let's Do Swim, that is actually located in Seminye and Kajang. There are two places which swimming classes can be learned by the students under the company of Let's Do Swim, which is at La Pelangi Sports and Recreation Centre. The other place is located at Country Heights Resorts and Leisure. They are open every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, from 9 AM until 10 PM. The price which for 8 session of classes is 350 ringgit for a student with a span of 10 weeks, like 1 week, 1 session, 1 classes. The classes will focus on breaststroke, on and water turning for the first level, basic front crawl and backstroke for second level, basic butterfly and turning for the third level. After finishing the third level, then the students are eligible to go for the life-saving certificate, or to actually be a lifesaver, like a lifeguard. Or the students can go to learn the fourth level of swimming, which is the full frontal crawl, the butterfly, and physical endurance, resulting in a certification of a swimmer. So that is all.
Okay, thank you for the point that you have given. Is there any other opinion from anyone in this room?
Me, Mr. Chairman, I have an opinion. The way that I see that swimming is one of the most balanced sport to do, where it develops the skill and of an individual, because it trains the whole body. The whole body needs to move, and that's why I support your point. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for that clarification. We will surely keep it in mind before we put the motion into a vote. Is there any comment, question, or correction from the member in this room?
Mr. Chairman, I have a comment about this motion.
And what's your comment?
Based on our survey that has been conducted, most students have selected swimming because of the 30% of the students chooses equestrian, 30% chooses gymnastics, but 40% chooses swimming. So, about the Ammar explanation, I suggest that we choose the Let's Do Swim company and uses the facility to swimming sport for our students that is currently near in Semenyih and Kajang. Furthermore, about the facility, the Let's Do Swim, it seems that they are also open on weekends, which is Saturday and Sundays. This will benefit the students since they can also visit there and begin their swimming lessons. The swimming lessons. And lastly, about the prices for them to pay, it is a bit too high, but affordable to most of the students. And additionally, the classes of levels and trainings provided by Let's Do Swim company are very impressive and clear, and will ensure the students to learn faster without any problems. And about the transportation, it is also needed to be revised for the 400 students of our college.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Secretary. So, is there anyone who will add anything to the discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to add something for the discussion. I would like to add something about the transportation cost to the Let's Do Swim faculty, where the location is basically 9 kilometers from our college, which is the Ammar Professional College, Bernal. And with the calculation that I have made with the college bus, it is per se that within the usage of the bus, the consumption cost of fuel is actually RM 8 ringgit 75 cent one trip. So it's if it's a round trip, it's actually 17 ringgit 50 cent. So for one weekend, which is 2 round trips, is 35 ringgit. For 4 weekends, it is 30. For 8, no, actually, let's scrap for the 4 weekends. We'll go on to the 8 weekends, which is 280 ringgit for 8 sessions. So basically, each student has to pay a merely 5 ringgit for the transportation of an 8 weeks 8-week session of training. So the transportation to go to Let's to Swim is secured and definitely low cost. So that is my calculation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the input. Any more input from anyone in the room?
No.
No, Mr. Chairman.
So the proposed motion is that we choose swimming. We have discussed about the cost of the sport, the time, and the place of training. We have also discussed about the positive impact and the negative impact of implementing the sport toward the MPCB. Therefore, I would like to put the proposed into motion, bro. Those who are in favor, please raise up your hand. Okay, we have 4 votes for the motion and 0 votes against the motion. Therefore, the motion is carried out. So I declare that Umar proposal is accepted. From discussion, the conclusion that I can make for the sport discussion is that swimming sport will be implemented in the KPM in the KPMB. So is there any other business to be discussed?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I have an issue that need to be discussed in the other meeting, or I mean the next meeting. That is the increased amount of students. Why there is lot of students that got kicked out from the college from the last semester.
Alright, Haady.
Okay, that's it. That's all.
Mr. Chairman, sorry to interrupt you, but can you fix the time for our next meeting?
Yes, I will set the time for the next meeting, and thank you for reminding me that.
Okay.
So next Friday will be our next meeting. Is everyone okay with that?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, then so let's meet at the same time, 2 PM, at the same place to discuss about this matter that Mr. Treasurer has talked about. Can someone propose that our meeting close?
Mr. Chairman, I propose that our meeting today is closed.
I second the motion.
So that I would like to thank you, all of you, for coming to our monthly meeting today. So that I declare that our meeting today is closed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.